Good morning, welcome to Breakfast with Naga Manchetti and Charlie State.
Our headlines today. Paying for the pandemic. The Chancellor delivers a budget that will take the UK's tax burden to its highest level since the 1960s.
But it's a buy now, pay later budget with UK debt soaring. I'm in the northeast where fresh investment has been welcomed, but there's worry about who will pay long term. A question we'll put to the Chancellor.
The Duchess of Sussex accuses the royal family of perpetuating falsehoods about her and Prince Harry.
I don't know how they could expect that after all of this time, we would still just be silent if there is an active role that the firm is playing in perpetuating falsehoods about us.
This latest extract from the US television interview with Oprah Winfrey comes as the palace investigates claims that the Duchess bullied royal staff.
Good morning. England are in a spin again. They have to win this final test against India to avoid losing the series, but on the first morning, they're in trouble once more.
Whoa! Whoa, whoa, whoa! Whoa! Oh my God. There you go.
A dramatic moment, an unmanned SpaceX rocket explodes after a test flight.
Good morning. It's another chilly start to the day. Chilly day generally, with a fair bit of cloud around. Some dense fog this morning across some southern areas. And we've got some rain in the forecast too. I'll tell you where later in the programme.
Good morning. It's Thursday, the 4th of March. Our top story is that Rishi Sunak has defended his plans to raise overall taxation to the highest level since the 1960s, saying that no chancellor since has had to deal with a pandemic.
Yesterday, he set out plans in the budget to begin repairing the nation's finances post-coronavirus. But Labour leader Sir Keir Starmer says he's just papering over the cracks. Paul Hawkins has this report.
Billed as a budget to rescue an economy ravaged by COVID.
Can the country afford this budget, Mr Sunak?
The Chancellor has promised to protect jobs. The tax increases loom, taking the UK's tax burden to its highest level since the 1960s, according to the Office for Budget Responsibility.
Obviously, the pandemic has dealt us pretty bad damage to the public finances and the economy, and I think I and the government have a responsibility to put those on back in a strong position over time, but do that in a way that is supportive of our economic recovery in the short term, but also do so in a way that is fair.
This is how he intends to do it. The furlough scheme is to be extended until the end of September, as will higher universal credit payments. The headline rate of corporation tax will go up from 19% to 25% from 2023, though smaller firms will be exempt. And a freeze on income tax thresholds is expected to lead to 1.3 million more people paying income tax, plus 1 million more paying at the higher rate. But there'll be some more help for hospitality. Pubs won't have to pay business rates until the end of June.
We have been open for 4 months out of the last 12 when we get to reopen. When we reopen, it's going to be gardens only and then restricted inside. So we're going to need all the help we can get to get hospitality through.
Labour talk of a missed opportunity.
So I just think this didn't deliver the scale of what was required. And for most people, what they're going to see is a very big increase in council tax, possibly a universal credit cut, and a very high level of unemployment, no matter where they live.
Although much of the focus has been on business, some number crunchers say the effects of the budget will also be felt far wider.
Much less attention was paid to what's happening to British households, and in many ways the year ahead for them is more difficult than the year we've been through, with falling living standards even while the economy recovers this autumn. And actually for public services too, further cuts to public spending mean that we may be seeing what feels a lot like austerity.
There is now a route out of lockdown, but tough times ahead. The Chancellor says not all his decisions will be popular, but they are, he insists, honest. Paul Hawkins, BBC News.
Let's get more now from our chief political correspondent, Adam Fleming, joining us from Westminster. Morning to you, Adam. Just give us a sense of the scale of what's being outlined is huge in terms of both the spending, but also in terms of one day the tax that has to be recouped.
Yeah, and the Chancellor's basically got 3 episodes in this budget. The first episode is continuing the massive support for people and businesses during the pandemic, keeping that going until September. Then the second phase is trying to boost the economy by giving a massive tax break to businesses that invest. And then step 3 is increasing the tax on company profits that we're just hearing about, and increasing the tax on most of the rest of us by freezing those thresholds for the different rates of income tax, which means that more people will start paying income tax and more people will end up paying the higher rate of income tax. Now, this is all shrouded in uncertainty because we don't really know how the economy is going to behave over the next few years. It's a guess. We don't really know how the virus is going to behave over the next few years. And how will Conservative MPs behave in the next few years? They're okay with tax increases at the moment, but will they be okay with the highest tax burden since the 1960s when it actually exists in a couple of years' time?
Anna, for the moment, thank you.
Nina's going to be talking to the Chancellor, Rishi Sunak, at 7:30, so we'll have more on that.
The Duchess of Sussex says she's not afraid of the consequences of speaking out in her and Harry's interview with Oprah Winfrey, saying a lot has been lost already.
A second extract from the heavily anticipated interview has been released overnight, in which Meghan said that she could not be expected to stay silent if the royal family played a part in perpetuating falsehoods about the couple. It comes as Buckingham Palace launches an investigation into claims the Duchess bullied former royal staff. Simon Jones has more.
Meghan is making it clear she will not be afraid to speak out in a second trailer for the interview released overnight.
How do you feel about the palace hearing you speak your truth today?
I don't know how they could expect that after all of this time, we would still just be silent if there is an active role that the firm is playing in perpetuating falsehoods about us. And if that comes with risk of losing things, I mean, there's a lot that's been lost already.
This is a second clip released by CBS, but the first in which we've heard the Duchess speak. The interview was recorded before Buckingham Palace began an investigation into claims Meghan had bullied former royal staff. The Times newspaper has obtained an email written in late 2018 by Jason Knorf, the couple's communications secretary, to Simon Case. He's now the Cabinet Secretary. In it, Mr. Knorf is reported to have written, "I am very concerned that the Duchess was able to bully 2 PAs out of the household in the past year. The treatment of X was totally unacceptable." Buckingham Palace said it was very concerned about the allegations. Former members of staff will be invited to participate in its investigation. In a statement, it added, "The royal household has had a dignity at work policy in place for a number of years and does not and will not tolerate bullying or harassment in the workplace." But a spokesperson for Meghan said, "The Duchess is saddened by this latest attack on her character, particularly as someone who has been the target of bullying herself. She will keep striving to set an example for doing what is right and good." But the latest interview clip will do little to heal any apparent rifts between the Sussexes and the palace. Simon Jones, BBC News.
Scotland's First Minister Nicola Sturgeon has insisted she had no motive, intention or desire to get her predecessor Alex Salmond.
Giving evidence to the inquiry into her government's handling of harassment allegations against Mr Salmond, she described claims of a plot against him as absurd. Our political correspondent Nick Eardley has this report.
After months of allegations, yesterday Nicola Sturgeon had her chance to make her case.
I solemnly, sincerely and truly declare and affirm that I will tell the truth, the whole truth and nothing but the truth.
Scotland's First Minister insists she followed the rules, that her government was right to investigate Alex Salmond and that there was no plot to take him down.
Alex Salmond has been for most of my life, since I was about 21 years old, not just a very close political colleague, a friend, in my younger days, somebody I looked up to and revered. You know, I had no motive, intention, desire to get Alex Salmond.
This was a marathon session, more than 7 hours of questioning. Ms Sturgeon apologised to women who were let down by the government, but she insisted all the decisions she made were for the right reasons.
I have never claimed in this or anything else to be infallible. I have searched my soul on all of this many, many times over. It may very well be that I didn't get everything right. That's for others to judge. But in one of the most invidious political and personal situations I have ever faced, I believe I acted properly and appropriately, and that overall I made the best judgments I could.
This row isn't over though. There could be more claims to come, and a report on whether Ms Sturgeon broke the rules ministers have to follow is expected this month. Nick Earley, BBC News, Holyrood.
See the headlines as they happen and watch BBC News live in the app and get the full story with bbc.co.uk/news. Follow the story for all the latest with BBC News.